a new Colwood burner. Shh. Hi, Valarie with Drawing with Fire. Okay, first off, I have to say, if you came to the meet and greet for the show last month, I am so sorry that I wasn't there. We arrived at 3:30, and there is a story, there is a reason behind it, but it was so frustrating, and I was so upset because I really wanted to see everybody, and I wanted to see the art, and I was calling people from the show frantically, letting them know we were still coming down, and I was a little bummed, but you know, life happens. What happened was we started out from Flagstaff at 9:40, and right here I'm going to insert some video of us driving along the highway I-17. I wanted to show you guys the trees, and it was beautifully overcast, so we were just going down the road, and all was good. We were doing great, making good time. I was excited. We were going to the show, and of course I did want to see if I won anything, because, well, I'm very competitive and that's just me. But anyway, we're driving along, listening to our music, talking, and I picked up, we were about 28 miles south of Flagstaff, and we were starting down the steepest part of the mountain, and off to the right you can see Sedona, at least the red rocks and stuff. So I picked up the GoPro, and I wanted to show you guys how the terrain changes from Flagstaff to Phoenix. There's a big difference. Nobody realized, or a lot of people don't realize, that we have snow and mountains and trees, and it's green. Anyway, so I pick it up, and I'm going to insert the video here. We're looking at the red rocks in Sedona as we're coming down, making our way into Camp Verde, and all was good. Doing a good 80 miles, give or take, coming off the mountain, and then all of a sudden, about 10 miles north of the Sedona exit on I-17, a giant crash happened, and I did get us rolling up on the scene. You'll see smoke and the diesel in front of us, because I'm putting it right here. But I immediately turned off the camera because though we are no longer certified, as in our certification expired, we were both, hubby and I were both trained as first responders, and we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Response to any wrecks on I-17 can take a while. So I immediately cut off the camera. We jumped out of the car. We had to hit the hazards while we were slowing down, because we were slowing down so quickly and we didn't want to get rear-ended, and jumped out. And there's already a police officer there. There's already a DPS officer there, and he's carrying his shotgun, which is not a good thing. And a diesel is laying off to the side. I don't know if you can see that in the video, because I haven't put it in yet. There's a diesel laying on his side, off of the side of the road. There's an SUV. As we were heading southbound, there was an SUV that was facing us after it hit the guardrail. Anyway, ultimately what happened was, apparently the gentleman in the SUV had prior been in a Mustang that got into a wreck further down the road. The alleged suspect at this point, alleged suspect at this point carjacked an SUV and took off back up the mountain, and we were told shots were fired. He fired upon DPS and the sheriff's office, and he ended up going over 100 miles an hour north on the southbound lane. What had happened less than 2 minutes before we rolled up was that he hit a semi he ran into the semi head on. He was in the wrong part of the freeway altogether and hit the diesel that was laying on the side. Luckily, the truck driver, if you can say it lucky, she only broke her ankle from what we were told. As we had gotten out to offer help, another DPS officer came up with his rifle and they were trying to clear the vehicle. And so we tried to back everybody up as much as we could, because you don't normally see rifles and shotguns drawn at a wreck, because at that time we didn't know what had happened. And they quickly dropped their weapons, and several of them pulled the man out and laid him on the highway. I did not see him move. Hubby said he saw him take a breath and then stop. He was not handcuffed. He was not being rendered first aid. We thought he was dead. And we were standing around. By this time, there's a good 60 cars behind us, because everything is stopped. The whole highway on our side, southbound, is completely covered. Can't go anywhere. And I'm looking at the clock going, oh boy, I think we're going to be a little late. And as it turns out, this happened at 10:20. They, of course, had to shut down the freeway. We sat there for about an hour before, and we did talk to DPS. The gentleman, the suspect, was later air vac'd out, and last I heard or checked, he was recovering. They're kind of being hush-hush on this story. I'm not exactly sure why. Anyway, so they backed us up, and we had to drive. Now, we were driving northbound on the southbound lanes of I-17, because we had to go up a couple of miles before we could go to the emergency, basically turnaround. Every so often, they have a dirt turnaround for emergency vehicles, and they had to go down to one lane on the northbound so that we could merge on safely. So at this point, after sitting for an hour, we had to drive back up to Phoenix, turn around, and go southbound down 89E through Sedona, which is a beautiful view. We were making good time. I was like, oh, okay, we can do this. There wasn't that much traffic on the highway as we were going down. About 60 cars behind us, so traffic should be okay even for a Sunday morning. It was actually quite slow, or thin. And then we hit 2 miles outside of Sedona. Yeah. We sat and went 2 miles in 1 hour. Oh, by this time, at the end of that hour, we're already afternoon. And I'm getting a little worried because we're still quite a ways away from Mesa. And that's when I started making my calls. I'd been in contact with our sons, trying to let them know what was going on, because they were meeting us. So you guys were going to get to see them and grandbaby. And I was just so excited. Everything was coming together. And it was a little after 1, and we were back on the I-17. Traffic through Sedona was horrible, and that was just to get us 10 miles down I-17, but because they had to completely close it off, we had to go a good let's see here, a good 60 plus miles to go 10 miles, if that makes sense. Anyway, so I got back on the freeway to a sign that says, there's a wreck up ahead. It's like, what? We just did this. And what had happened, that I later found out, through the news stories, was that's where the original wreck had happened and the carjacking had happened. But luckily, nobody was hurt in that as far as we know. And they had it down to 1 lane so we could get going. So we flew all the way down to Mesa, and it was exactly 3:30 when we pulled into the parking lot. So it took us 6 hours to get to Phoenix from Flagstaff. Anyway, and I looked around. I was so hoping maybe if somebody showed up, they showed up late too. And unfortunately, if any of you guys showed up, I so appreciate it. And I'm sorry I missed you. I did take some footage of the show. It had to be very quick. And so I'm going to insert that here. And what I'm doing is I didn't have enough time to get as much footage as I wanted, but I am showing you how my art was set up, how the awards were presented on my pieces. I submitted 4 pieces for the show, and I came home with 8 awards. All of the pieces got the most basic award, so I got, how did it go? I got first, second, and third in just immediate wood burning on animals. Well, 3 of them were animals and wood burning. The other one I still haven't shown you guys is a bear on watercolor paper. So that was miscellaneous burning, and that received, what did that receive? Second place. That received second place. And then, so the cat dog received second place. The deer received third place. The raccoon received first place. And so that's what these little awards, which I'm still very proud of. These are all for the pieces themselves on the basic level. So I have 4 of those. And then we get over to these big guys. So I received 2 second place for all of intermediate wood burning. Yes. 2 second place, or no, I'm sorry. Second place immediate burning. Second place immediate, how do I write this? So this is for the bear watercolor. Oh, miscellaneous. Intermediate miscellaneous. First place for all the burnings for the raccoon. And then the big one for me. This one was for the raccoon. Third place, all of intermediate. So that included wood carvings, miscellaneous, wood burnings, all kinds of stuff. So this is my big one. Not quite best to show, and I'll get there one of these days, but this is right there below best of show, and I'm extremely proud of it. So that's how all that went. And while there, Pam from Mountain Wood Carvers was there, and luckily what I had done was on Friday when I dropped off the art, Pam was there setting up, so I snuck into the show. I didn't look at everybody's art, but I snuck into where the vendors were. Not really snuck in, kind of, it was just a matter of walk. Anyway, and Pam was setting up, and I got to introduce myself to her face to face, which was awesome. I love doing that. And then I went shopping. And that is where this stuff comes in. So that is where the Colwood comes in. And because, granted, I did not need another burner, but I do know that everybody burns with different stuff, and I wanted to make sure I had all the correct information. And so I'll unbox this for you guys, and that'll be a close-up so you can see what's going on in the video. And then I will do an actual review using it, because I haven't taken it out yet. I was waiting for you guys. But while I was shopping with Pam, I did ask her, since I was buying the wood burner, if I could use my own promo code. And Pam was awesome. So I got my free strop and my free strop abrasive. So my promo code does work. I got it, tested it myself. So I'm looking forward to actually polishing up some of my older tips and see if that makes a difference. I'll show this closer in the close-up part. Burnmaster came out with a new tip. It is a spoon shader, which is very similar to the one that I use with my nibs burner. So I was really excited to try this one out. So they've added, it's down there. I'll show close up. And then I also went ahead and, because I do have some loose nibs burner pins that they're the interchangeable, and I had bought a shader tip and I wanted to try them out. So I went ahead and got a heavy duty cord for that. So that was my little shopping spree at the show. But I did win some stuff along with my ribbons, and one is a gift card that I haven't used yet. I have to go through the catalog, and as it turns out, they have razor tip pins through Valarie, so I'll be ordering from that. I won a set of pencils, which you can never have too many pencils, and this is a carving Ozark County Characters by Mike Shipley. And this, I believe, it says miscellaneous, so I think this might be for the bear. It's a pattern book, and though I don't carve, I do think this is really cool. And I do want to do some relief carving more, but you never know. Just one more great thing to pick up. And then I also, I have wood. There was a dealer. That sounds so bad. There's a wood dealer. There was a, I can't think of his name. Oh, I'm so sorry. There was a vendor there who had basswood blanks and the pieces, which I'm not sure what happened to that. It's starting to dry out. It was a little wet when I picked it up, but this is the basswood plank. I got one of this size, which I don't know. Da-da-da. That wasn't fun. So there's that one. And because I won a $30 gift card for him, and what had happened was after they gave up the awards, which as it turns out, they started the awards at 2 o'clock. And we were an hour and a half, they were an hour and a half into the awards ceremony giving away prizes. And I knew I was positive I'd missed it. And so I went and asked where to pick up because I knew I'd won from my ribbons. And they told me where to go, and I'm not kidding. As soon as I walked in, within 30 seconds of walking in, because they were still talking, so I didn't want to interrupt, my name got called. So I did not miss my part of the award ceremony, which there wasn't a whole lot of people there, but hey, I still got to hear my name called, so I'm happy. And one of the gift cards that I won was for this wood, and so I got that one, and then I got this one. Yeah, I haven't measured it. It's a good 2.5 feet. And the fact that this board was only $20, I really need to see if I can find his name. In fact, I will look on the vendors list for the show, and down in the links below, I will have his information so that you can check it out, because these are beautiful basswood planks. So that was all my goodies from the Desert Wood Carver show. It was great to see Pam face to face and do a little shopping. And I love the wood that I got. Such beautiful pieces. I'm really happy for those. Again, all the information will be down in the description below. And if you like the video, please make sure to hit a thumbs up. We're almost to 500 and it's so exciting. So let's get us there. And thanks again. And if you made it to this show, I am so sorry that I wasn't there. But we really did try because we really wanted to meet everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button. And if you're new here, subscribe and join our community. I do pyrography videos and all kinds of stuff to help with your art. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave them down in the comments. And if you just want to say hi, leave that down in the comments too. Happy burning, guys. Bye.